Hello everyone, my name is Camila. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over my March reading wrap up. I read 6 books this month, which honestly is pretty good. I also read 6 books in January, which I was really impressed by. But the books this month were definitely a little bit shorter, a little bit faster, quicker reads. So I started off the month by reading Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is a romance. It is part of a series, the Brown Sister series, that Talia Hibbert has. It's 3 books. They're all standalones, but they're also kind of interconnected. I had already read Get a Life, Chloe Brown, a long time ago. Well, yeah, like 2 years ago, and I love that book. A Hint follows Dani Brown. She is a PhD student and she works at this university. And then we have Sav, who is her romantic interest, who is a security guard at the university. He works the front desk of the office building that she works at, and they just meet and they like each other. They like each other from the get-go. She really wants to sleep with him, and he found her so beautiful. Like, he's just enamored by this woman, but he has a tragic past. She also has trauma with relationships, so you can imagine how that goes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed their banter a lot. I think Talia Hibbert definitely knows how to write. Like, the chemistry was there. They definitely had chemistry. I like Dani a lot. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I felt like she was a little obtuse when, spoiler alert, not really spoiler, they get together. And Saf was something more serious than what Dani wants. And I feel like she was a little bit obtuse sometimes. I know, because of her trauma with past relationships, about how much Saf loved her. That annoyed me a little bit, because I was like, girl, this man clearly loves you. Please open your eyes. In a romance book, I really need more of a supporting cast of characters. I need a little more development, more descriptions of where we're at, more like make me smell where you're at, make me feel there. You know what I mean? And I felt like Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which she also wrote, definitely made me feel that. It made me feel maybe just related more to the characters or something. But this book was lacking that quality for me personally. Also, a lot of the book was just them talking to each other and them getting hijinks, which I didn't mind. Oh, they start a fake relationship. That's part of this book, which was cute. But I felt like we needed more of their friends, their families, even, Dani's sisters, because they just felt like they were isolated in this little bubble. Next up, we have Kindred by Octavia Butler. I was a little bit apprehensive towards reading this book at first, because I read Parable of the Sower 2.5 years ago, and I didn't really enjoy Parable of the Sower. Took me like 2 weeks. Like, I remember how long it took me to read that book. Once I read it was like a speculative fiction, not so much like science fiction-y, and it was more historical too. I was like, okay, let me get into this. And it was a 5-star read. It was my only 5-star read of this month. I adore this book. It's a classic for a reason, but sometimes when you read a classic and you're like, that book is a classic, like, you really get what people have been saying about it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Kindred is about Dana. She is moving into her house with her husband, Kevin, who's white. She's black. She gets suddenly pulled to this like river situation where she has to pull out a little boy and save him from drowning. She gets pulled back to the present, and her husband is like, girl, what just happened to you? Like, what the hell? And then she's like, I don't know, like, I was in a river, I had to save a drowning boy, somebody almost killed me. And the book starts from there. And so there's 6 instances where she has to go back to the past, to like pre-abolition United States, so like early 1800s, I want to say. I'm pretty sure, yeah, like 1800s-ish. Well, before abolition. Back to somewhere in Maryland, to a plantation, to save this kid who she has to keep saving 6 times because he is her ancestor. So that's what the book is. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I actually think I already gave away too much about it, but it's simply phenomenal. Like, it's amazing, and it reads so easy. Butler is just an amazing writer. It was a very like straightforward book. Like, it's first person, so Dana was just like, this is happening to me, and then this happened, and then this happened, and you're just like following her journey with her. It's not a very long book either. And yeah, she gets stuck in a plantation like months at a time. She has to become a slave. It's a whole thing, and it just, I don't know. I found that so interesting. Like, would you save a slave owner just because he's your ancestor? So much about also how she could shape the community of enslaved people, like the plantation, while she was also there, like how she tried to rebel but couldn't. And then there's a point in the book where she goes back with Kevin, and so they have to act like he's her master, like all this stuff. Oh my goodness, this book is phenomenal. If you if you're watching this video and you can take one thing away from the video, is read this freaking book. It's so good. It should be taught everywhere. I was blown away. I was blown away at how good it was. I don't know why I didn't think it would be that good, but I guess my experience with Parable maybe be like, So sometime this month, I forgot about it because it was in my bookshelf. I read The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak, and I really enjoyed this. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I really love a prose book. It talks about the island of Cyprus, or Cypriot. It's in the Mediterranean near Greece and Turkey, I'm pretty sure. And it's had a lot of political issues, socioeconomic political issues, because the island has a lot of trouble with both its Turkish Muslim inhabitants and its Greek Christian Christian inhabitants. And you can very much think about the troubles in Northern Ireland. Part of the book takes place in the 70s when the conflict is really bad, and then like during the 90s and early 2000s. And then another part of this book takes place in the 2010s. So Kostas and Daphne are the couple who falls in love, and then Daphne dies, and Kostas is left with their daughter, Ada, or Ada. We start the book with Ada and something she goes through at school, and it's like her Christmas break, and her aunt, who she's never met, comes to town too. And the present day chapters, are interlaced with the past chapters. And then we also learn a lot about plants and trees and nature. If you like nature, truly, if you like birds or trees or plants in any way, I would recommend this book, because there's a lot of information about them, or like a lot of descriptions and references, and I think a lot of love to like our earth and our plant life and our like animal life. We see Kostas and Daphne fall in love. We see them break up. We see them just go through life, and we see Kostas and Ada try to pick up the pieces of what happens afterwards. And I mean, for me, since I'm an immigrant, and it's also a story about migration, it was really touching. Like there were a lot of quotes in this book that I found really relatable, and or like that made me just be like, yeah, that is that way. Damn, the author described it perfectly. And just, I'm a sucker for a story about 2 people who are like caught in the crossfires of something, and it's actually something serious, and like the love that we can make out of something so horrible. And yeah, I 100% recommend this book. I thought it was maybe a little slow, or I don't know why I gave it 4 stars, because I remember really enjoying it, but I also forgot I read it. So maybe that tells you something about it, but I definitely want to check out her other books. I read The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow, which had been on my bookshelf for literally 1 million years. This book was okay. I definitely liked it enough to read more by her, which is good. Juniper, Bella, and Agnes are sisters. They are living in somewhere in like late 1800s, I'm pretty sure, because it's like the women's suffragette movement. And there's in a city called New Salem, which I don't know if it's a real city. I never looked this up actually. The old one burned down. And in this world, witches are real. Like the witch trials were real, 100%, because women have magic, and like they use it for little things, like turning on like an invisible light, or making sure your hair stays put together all day, or making sure the room is warm for the winter, stuff like that. A lot of people think that magic never left. We see all 3 POVs of the sisters, and we follow their journey to finding magic once again. It was a fun book. It was a little long, I'm not gonna lie. It dragged sometimes for me. Sometimes I was like, will I DNF this? Will I not? It's basically an adventure. It's very, I mean, for Women's History Month, it was perfect, because it's literally about the women's right to vote movement. It's about being witchy and taking back like what's rightfully yours. It's very strong female characters. Basically this book hates men. That's pretty much it. Well, there's one man that they like, but it's a lot of also trauma. I don't have much to say about it. It was fun. I was happy when I finished it. I actually really liked that it was more intersectional than I thought it would be. For a second, I was scared that it was gonna be a little bit weird, the daughters of the witches they couldn't burn, or something like that, like very white feminism. But for a white author writing the book, I felt like it was pretty intersectional, or at least it made more of an effort than I think other books. After reading The Ones Who Future Witches, I picked up The Beautiful Ones by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This has also been on my bookshelf for literally 1,000,000 years. I finally got to it, but this book freaking deceived me. I gave it 3 stars. I still liked it, and I really want to read more for other stuff, because it all sounds very varied, and I really liked her prose, but this book deceived me. The blurb makes it sound like it's this new young debutante who's going to be entering a new society, and is going to be doing like all these new things, and she has magic and somebody else has magic, and like we're gonna find out what she can do with her powers, and she's gonna have a mentor and all this stuff. It was not that. Literally, the back cover of this book like catfished me. It catfished me. This is a romance. And I didn't really want to read another romance this month, I'm not gonna lie. I read Take a Hint at the beginning of the month, and it was pretty long. It was like 400 pages long for a romance. I think romances should stop at 350, if I'm being honest. Unless I really love it, then it can go to 400, but whatever. I read that, and then like this also has a lot of romance in it. This is, I mean, it makes you think about political questions, but it also has a lot of romance. So I think I wanted something a little bit more not so romance forward, but I ended up with this. I don't know why. It follows this girl. Her name is Nina, and Nina has a lot of money. Like her family has money. This is like in 1800s France. Nina has a lot of money, but she's from the countryside, so she has no manners. She's basically like, I don't know, an animal. Literally, some people in this book are like, she's literally like an animal. She's from the countryside. So yeah, but they sent her to the big city to get manners and to get a husband, and she does want to get a husband. Like, she's low-key hopeless romantic, but she has telekinesis. Like, this is a thing in this book where people have this power, but only her and the guy she ends up falling in love with and marrying have it. Like, we don't meet anybody else who has this power. So I was very confused by that. Like, I thought this book was gonna be a fantasy with some romance elements, because in the back they mentioned the telekinesis, and it made it sound like there were more people who would have it, but it was literally only her and him, so whatever. She's staying with her cousin, and her cousin has a wife, and the wife, Valerie, is low-key really mean. Like, in the beginning of the book, I was reading a little bit for her, but then at the end of the book, I was not. She was a villain. But Valerie had an entanglement with this man named Hector a really long time ago, 10 years ago to be exact. Hector's back in town, and he's now courting Nina because he wants to get close to Valerie. It's literally a Bridgerton. It's literally a Bridgerton season, but I enjoyed it. And he's trying to court Valerie. No, he's trying to court Nina because he wants to get close to Valerie. But Valerie is very happy with all her material possessions. That's what the book starts with, and then it just goes from there. They like break up, they fight, they end up together, they don't end up together. But I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was like watching Bridgerton, and Bridgerton is very entertaining and enjoyable. Definitely not the best book, but at least it made me found an author I like, which I think is a win for me. And now we have gotten to the end of this video. Last book I read last month I guess in March, was Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. This I really liked. I had read Little Fires Everywhere before a few years, like 3 years ago, and I do not remember that book at all. Like, I remember families and something weird. Like, I remember there was some gossip in the small town, but I don't remember any plot points. But I remember really liking it. Like, I remember liking her prose. I remember liking the story and where it was going. So I've had this for forever, and I finally decided to read it because it was short, honestly, to finish out the month. I only had like a week left. Like, there was only a week left, so I didn't want to pick something too long. This book talks about the Lee family, and the book opens up with their daughter Lydia has died in the lake, and it just goes from there. I'm not even gonna say that much more about it. I give it 4 stars. It goes from there. it just unravels this family and their dynamic and all of her history. The dad is Chinese and the mom is white, and this dynamic, with the fact that the mom always wanted a little bit more out of her life, not to be a housewife, is really, really interesting about talking in terms of feeling out of place and feeling unfulfilled with your life. Lydia has two other siblings, Nathan, who's older, and Hannah, who's younger. So the relationship amongst the three siblings was also really, really interesting, and the relationship that the parents had to them, because Lydia was the favorite, and so when she dies, you know, it's a big deal. I just liked everything about this book. I don't have much to say about it. I just liked the way to examine like familial expectations and pressures, and I think the price we pay for our family sometimes, and what that can lead to. I mean, obviously Lydia's dead, so you can guess what happens in this book, but it wasn't anything too crazy. Sometimes I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, like I kept waiting for something really, really bad to happen, but it never did. Like, all the things that happen in this book are very mundane, like very much things that I could see anybody I know or anybody I come across going through. And I think I really like that about this book. Like, it was just very down to earth. That was my March reading wrap up. Please let me know what kind of other content you want. I really want to try to make one vlog at least this month, just because I've never made one before. I keep wanting to make like a video of like reading only romances for a week or only reading fantasy for a week. So let me know what genre you would like to see me read for a week, I guess, if I'll ever make that video. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment, whatever. I don't know if you got this far into the video. Thank you for watching. Yeah, until next time, bye.